Imagine a villain that can slip through your fingers, morph into any shape, and be virtually indestructible. For decades, Hollywood has been obsessed with one terrifying concept: liquid metal. From the T-1000 in Terminator 2 to the shapeshifting threats in countless sci-fi thrillers, filmmakers keep returning to this sinister idea. But what makes liquid metal so captivating on screen? And more importantly, how close are we to making it real? Today, we're diving deep into the science behind cinema's most mesmerizing villain trope: the birth of an icon, why the T-1000 changed everything. When James Cameron introduced the T-1000 in Terminator 2, Judgment Day in 1991, he didn't just create a memorable villain, he created a template that would influence sci-fi cinema for generations. But why liquid metal? Unlike robotic Terminators made of rigid titanium, the T-1000's mercury-like form offered something unprecedented: unstoppable adaptability. The character could heal from gunshot wounds, transform into different shapes, and pursue its target relentlessly. What made this concept so revolutionary was its psychological impact. A liquid metal assassin represented a threat that couldn't be negotiated with, reasoned with, or even fully comprehended. It tapped into something primal in our fears: the unknown, the shapeless, the impossible to contain. The physics problem: why liquid metal villains make scientific sense. Here's the clever part: liquid metal as a weapon isn't purely fantasy. Real liquid metals exist, and they have extraordinary properties. Mercury, for instance, remains liquid across a wide temperature range and can conduct electricity. Gallium is another candidate. It melts at just 30 degrees Celsius, and some experimental alloys can exist in liquid states that are far more stable. From a physics standpoint, a liquid metal entity would have massive advantages. It could redistribute its weight to become lighter or heavier, flow through cracks and gaps, and theoretically reform itself after damage. The catch? Real liquid metals are incredibly dense and behave in ways that contradict how movies depict them. Mercury doesn't move with the fluidity of water, it's sluggish and heavy. It can't form coherent shapes without an external container. But this is where Hollywood's version becomes genius. They've taken the cool properties of real liquid metals and stripped away the inconvenient physics to create something that feels plausible enough to terrify us. The science of shapeshifting: how real materials inspire movie magic. Filmmakers have drawn inspiration from actual materials science to make liquid metal villains feel credible. Non-Newtonian fluids, substances that change viscosity depending on force applied, are one such inspiration. They behave like liquids when moving slowly, but harden under impact. Another real-world phenomenon is ferrofluids, liquids embedded with nanoscale iron particles that respond to magnetic fields. When exposed to magnets, ferrofluids spike into otherworldly shapes, creating that unsettling visual effect Hollywood loves. Programmable matter is another concept gaining real scientific traction. Researchers at MIT have created shape-shifting robots using modular components that can rearrange themselves. While these robots aren't liquid metal, they demonstrate that the principle of rapid structural transformation is moving from pure fiction into achievable science. The genius of the liquid metal villain is that it extrapolates from real science just far enough to feel possible. We know these materials exist. We know they can behave strangely. Hollywood just asks, what if we perfected them? Why our brains fear the formless. There's a psychological reason liquid metal villains terrify us more than traditional antagonists. Our brains are wired to recognize threats based on patterns and predictability. A human-shaped robot, a creature with identifiable anatomy, these fit into categories our minds can process. But a liquid metal entity that can become any shape, that breaks the rules. This connects to research on the uncanny valley, the unsettling feeling we get from things that are almost human but not quite. Liquid metal exists in a category beyond the uncanny valley. It's fundamentally alien. When the T-1000 mirrors your face and then absorbs it, we're witnessing a violation of bodily autonomy and identity that strikes at primal fears. Psychologically, we fear loss of control, shapeless threats, and entities that don't play by physical rules we understand. Liquid metal does all three simultaneously. It's the physical manifestation of chaos itself, which is why it remains the perfect cinematic villain. From T-1000 to today, how Hollywood keeps reinventing the concept. The T-1000's success didn't end with Terminator 2. Filmmakers have continuously reimagined liquid metal villains, each time pushing the concept in new directions. In X-Men, Days of Future Past, Sentinels could transform their bodies based on their opponent's mutant powers, a liquid metal evolution that made them adaptable to any threat. In Terminator Genesis, the T-1000 fights alongside the protagonist, forcing audiences to question their perception of the threat. The Venom universe explores liquid metal as symbiosis, a non-malevolent liquid entity that bonds with hosts. Even in anime and video games, liquid metal remains a go-to villain concept, from Metal Gear Solid's Man on Fire to the metallic entity in Alita, Battle Angel. What keeps audiences coming back? The concept never feels tired because liquid metal can be adapted to new storytelling needs. It can be a weapon of a dystopian future, a natural phenomenon, an alien invader, or a corporate creation. It's a villain format that survives because it's fundamentally flexible, which is somewhat ironic, given its nature. The real frontier: are we actually building liquid metal robots? Here's where it gets genuinely exciting. Scientists aren't just imagining liquid metal beings, they are making progress toward them. Researchers at North Carolina State University created shapeshifting robots from ferrofluids and soft materials that can squeeze through gaps and reform afterward. At MIT's Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Laboratory, scientists have developed robots made from materials that can change rigidity on command, allowing them to move fluidly and then harden to manipulate objects. The U.S. Air Force has funded research into programmable matter for military applications. A company called formless is developing self-reconfiguring robots inspired by liquid metal concepts. While none of these are true T-1000 level villains, they demonstrate that the core principles are scientifically valid. The challenge: combining the properties we want, rapid shapeshifting, strength, conductivity, adaptability, into a single material remains extraordinarily difficult. But give it time. The gap between science fiction and science reality grows smaller every year. What was pure imagination in 1991 is becoming an engineering problem in 2024. The catch: why we'll probably never have evil liquid metal robots, and why that's okay. Despite the exciting research, there are fundamental limitations that suggest true Hollywood-style liquid metal villains will likely remain fictional. First, there's the power problem. Liquid metal beings as depicted in movies would require enormous energy reserves to maintain coherence, reshape themselves, and move. Second, there's the control problem. How would such an entity have thoughts, decision-making capacity, or goals? A true liquid metal being would need some kind of distributed intelligence or neural network, adding layers of complexity that approach science fiction. Third, there's the practical materials problem. No single material exhibits all the properties we'd need: extreme strength, fluidity, conductivity, self-healing, and rapid reconfiguration. Finally, there's the ethical limitation. Developing true autonomous liquid metal weapons would trigger international regulations and treaties. We've learned from nuclear weapons what happens when we create technology we can't control. Fourth, the thermodynamic issues. Maintaining a liquid metal state while executing complex behaviors would require solving energy problems we haven't solved. So, while the science behind the concept is increasingly real, the specific combination of properties filmmakers promise remains locked in the realm of imagination. And perhaps that's for the best. What Hollywood got right and spectacularly wrong. Let's break down what filmmakers nailed and what they completely fabricated. Hollywood got right. Liquid metals do have unique properties. They can conduct electricity better than solids. They can flow and reform. Real researchers are exploring shape-shifting materials. They understood that formless threats are psychologically more terrifying than defined ones. Where they went wildly wrong: liquid mercury couldn't move the way the T-1000 does, it's far too dense and sluggish. A true liquid metal entity couldn't achieve the coherence of a humanoid shape without an external structure. The speed of transformation is impossible with current physics. Real liquid metals move far more slowly. A liquid metal being couldn't think, decide, or pursue complex goals without distributed intelligence. We don't know how to build. Liquid metals would corrode, oxidize, or evaporate depending on composition. The psychological terror works because filmmakers distilled the scariest aspects of liquid metal properties while removing all the boring physics. They understood that movie science isn't about accuracy, it's about taking real science and asking what if we removed the obstacles. The future of liquid metal in cinema, where are we headed? As real materials science advances, filmmakers have more ammunition for liquid metal villains. We're entering an era where the gap between movie magic and real technology is shrinking. Future films might depict liquid metal entities that are closer to actual scientific possibility, perhaps focusing on specific plausible scenarios rather than omnipotent shapeshifters. We might see stories about programmable matter weapons, ferrofluid-based surveillance systems, or swarm robots that behave like a single organism. The most interesting direction? Stories that explore the actual limitations and failures of liquid metal technology. Instead of perfect, unstoppable villains, we could see narratives where the instability, unpredictability, and power requirements of liquid metal become central to the plot. As artificial intelligence advances, we might see liquid metal coupled with advanced AI in ways that feel genuinely unsettling, not because they are physically invulnerable, but because they are genuinely intelligent and adaptable. The evolution of the liquid metal villain mirrors the evolution of our understanding of materials and robotics. As science progresses, so too will the stories we tell about the dangers they might pose. The liquid metal villain endures in Hollywood because it bridges the gap between pure imagination and plausible science. It's terrifying precisely because we can imagine it becoming real. As researchers continue developing shape-shifting materials and programmable matter, the line between science fiction and science fact continues to blur. Whether we actually create a T-1000 or not, the concept will keep captivating filmmakers and audiences because it represents something we fundamentally fear, a threat that doesn't play by the rules we understand. If you enjoyed this dive into the science behind cinema's most mesmerizing villain, smash the like button and subscribe so you never miss a video like this one.